How could you do that to her? She was an innocent baby and she was so sweet.
A toddler dead and her mother charged with murder. We're talking with a family member who still just can't believe the news.
And cameras were always on the agenda for tonight's commission meeting in Augusta, but now video showing an all-out brawl downtown may sway the commission one way or the other.
And an assault victim from last weekend's downtown attack is talking to 12. We find out how she's doing and listen to her side of the story.
News 12, first at 5 in high definition, starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Laura Warren.
And I'm Richard Rogers. Good to have you with us. New details coming out this afternoon about the murder of a toddler.
The coroner now saying he believes the 2-year-old was stabbed to death with a pair of scissors. It all started here at the scene of a wreck in Appling. Soon deputies realized the wreck was just the tip of the iceberg. News 12 is on your side, digging deeper, learning more about the woman who allegedly murdered her own daughter.
She was one of them pretty little girls and I loved her to death. Oh my God. I'm talking about she was just too cute.
Venetia Campfield used to babysit her cousin, Sky Allen, all the time. The news that she had been stabbed to death was tough to hear.
How could you do that to her? I'm talking about she was an innocent baby and she was so sweet.
Investigators say Marina Middlebrook stabbed her daughter to death, then stabbed herself before crashing into this tree in front of North Columbia Elementary School. A CD and a little girl's hair barrette are left on the ground from the wreck. Eerie reminders of what investigators found here.
As first responders were attending to Middlebrooks, they discovered the small child on the floorboard of that vehicle.
The Columbia County coroner says they believe the murder weapon was a pair of scissors. Campfield says she was with Sky's father when he found out how his baby died.
He could not move. He could not talk. He was so hurt because all he kept saying, she stabbed my baby in the neck.
It's a crime the entire community is struggling to understand.
Yeah, it's difficult, for people to get their minds wrapped around this kind of incident because it is so rare.
It's a question many people are asking. Could this mother have just snapped?
Her mind was going to wrong places. You know what I'm saying? She's thinking the wrong things.
Campfield says Middlebrooks and the father of her children were having some problems and that Middlebrooks had some psychological issues, but nothing could have predicted this.
This was a part of you. How can you take a part of you like that? I don't understand.
Middlebrooks is being held at the Columbia County Detention Center without bond. She's charged with cruelty to children and murder. Now, this case is still under investigation. They're still trying to determine if Sky was actually killed in Columbia County or perhaps closer to home in Richmond County.
Now, you've been talking to 12 and we've been listening as you weigh in on this disturbing story. Marcia from Edgefield says, this makes me sick. There's no excuse to hurt a child, no matter what the circumstances are. Praying for the family of this sweet little girl.
Christy from Appling says this is so sad. I was on the road that day when this happened. I never would have thought this, though. Rest in peace, little Sky Allen. You can search for our Facebook and Twitter pages and join in on that conversation. Turning to traffic and weather now, we are going to show you a live look real quick here outside along Washington Road and the Calhoun Expressway. A sunny day. Look, got some blue skies out there. Shane, how's the tomorrow shaping up for us?
Looking pretty good late this afternoon and toward the evening time, Laura, and it looks as though the next several days we're going to see more in the way of sunshine and temperatures finally getting back to the 80-degree mark. Look at it this afternoon. Got you looking along. Let's see, this is North Augusta, off to overlooking the city of Augusta, and a few cumulus clouds dotting the sky, but a lot of blue up there. Another angle we'll show you on the west side of Augusta at Wheeler Road and I-20. You can see the same scenario there. Lots of blue sky above some of those clouds, which will dissipate, by the way, once the sun sets. But take a look at the radar. A little earlier, we did have some showers, especially in parts of McCormick through Edgeville, Aiken County, seeing a little bit of that activity. Some of those producing some light hail up there north and east of Wagner earlier, but all that has shifted over toward Columbia. That is moving away from us. That's the upper level disturbance that we thought would bring a little bit more cloud cover and rain activity today. But for us, mostly this system kind of washing itself out as it heads toward the north and east. Not as big a factor as it was yesterday, back off toward the north and west. So temperatures upper 60s. Yeah, a little cooler underneath this disturbance, but tomorrow we're going to warm nicely back to around 80. Tonight, though, mid 60s at 8 o'clock. We'll drop down to 62 at 10. We're looking at mostly clear skies and light winds. Upper 50s by midnight with mostly clear skies. Looking for some sunshine and warmer temps. We've got that ahead in the 7-day forecast in just a bit. Richard.
Thank you, Shane. We're learning more about the weekend attack that sent a man and woman to the hospital. 25-year-old Ashley Soulsby was one of the victims of the robbery and assault last Friday afternoon downtown on the Riverwalk. This afternoon, she sat down with News 12 talking about that ordeal.
I know a lot of people are angry, but they shouldn't be angry. I'm not angry. It's just, You can't ask why. We won't know why they decided to do what they do.
We will hear much more of her story, including a surprising message for her attackers. That's coming up here on News 12 at 6 o'clock. More evidence of violence downtown. Yesterday, News 12 airing this video of a sidewalk brawl along Broad Street.
This fight going down just 1 week prior to that assault we just told you about, and it has a lot of local leaders asking, could surveillance cameras have prevented this violence or at least help catch some of those responsible?
As News 12's Ryan Houston explains, it is a hot topic at tonight's commission meeting.
This cell phone video shows more than 2.5 minutes of fighting, but no deputies. Commissioner Fenoy says it's an example of why cameras are needed downtown.
I'm not going to say that the police did not do their job because I don't know whether the sheriff's department have called or not, or whether 911 was called.
20-year-old Karion Everett says she knows why.
Snitches get stitches, that's what they say, but I guess that is a code they all go by.
Karion is from New Orleans. Everett says one of the reasons people were videotaping the downtown fight instead of calling 911 was because of an understood street code.
But what if something bad was to happen and that person trying to hide out and you tell who did it? You know, people try to protect themselves. Where I'm from, that's what they do. The stitches, they don't snitch where I'm from.
Commissioner Fenoy says that's why deputies need another set of eyes.
We as a city should do something to prevent this from happening again.
In the video, you see lots of people with their phones out like this, videotaping. Instead, Commissioner Fenoy says those same people should have been dialing 911.
You don't have to be like, well, so-and-so did it, but the video gonna show who did it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got evidence, like I said, you could be saving somebody's life. City
Administrator Fred Russell says money is available in the city's general budget for cameras if commissioners decide they want them.
It's a tough question because you've got to make sure that, you know, while it sounds good, you got to make sure you get the return on the investment that you've got and that you make sure that you actually are covering the area you want to cover.
In Augusta, Ryan Houston, News 12.
Now, there's a public forum set for tomorrow morning to discuss the recent violence downtown. It starts at 8 in the morning at the Karen Gordon stage, which is on the Riverwalk. As for tonight's meeting on the cameras, News 12 is there for you right now. We'll let you know what commissioners decide tonight here on News 12 at 11 o'clock.
Two South Carolina opponents are nearing the finish line today. After voting in today's election, former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford says if he doesn't make it back to Congress, he does not plan to run again. Sanford says he is tired but excited after the 5-month campaign. Elizabeth Colbert Bush is the sister of political comedian Stephen Colbert. She's been helped out by him by attending fundraisers. She says she wouldn't change a thing about her whole campaign. We'll find out tonight who ends up on top of that race.
We're on your side this evening with an update on those expired air cylinders at the Richmond County Fire Department. Chief Chris James says a lieutenant with the fire department has been disciplined after an investigation exposed the lieutenant missed an email about those tanks. He was disciplined for failure to perform duties.
We're on your side with an update to the Stratford Homeowners Association investigation we've been following for months for you. Laurie Vanover, the association's treasurer, turned herself in this morning after allegedly taking $267,663. In the report, the president of the Stratford Homeowners Association told the sheriff's office that Vanover was the only person allowed to make transactions with their card. She posted a $10,100 bond this morning. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office says she cooperated in the investigation. Stick around for News 12 at 6 o'clock, where we talk with others in the association dealing with this news. Well, it might have ruined your weekend plans, but thanks to the rain, the lake is up even higher than it was when we brought you this story last week. Chrissy Etheridge is on your side, finding out if these new levels could be here to stay.
And that's right, Laura. Right now, the Corps is still operating under the drought contingency plan and restricting the flow of water through the dam. But now that levels are up, that's where some of this water will be heading.
Thank you, Mother Nature.
That's praise everyone can agree on, since a lake that used to look like this now looks like this.
Now the lake level is at 327.7 feet, so 2.3 feet down from full pool. And by this Friday, based on the inflows that we're getting from the tributaries that are flowing into it, we should be at 328.6. And we have not been at that level for 5 years.
Now people living along the lake just hope it stays that way.
I think it's wonderful. I just wish they could do something to maintain it. I mean, this dock over here is probably the first time it's had water under it in 2 years.
But docks and recreation aren't the only reasons we need water.
It provides hydropower, supports recreation, water quality, water supply, and fish and wildlife management.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers controls the flow through the Strom-Thurmond Dam, so people downstream have water too. And now that levels are up, that's where some of this water will be heading. Right now, it just looks like a trickle coming out of the dam, but if the lake levels keep rising like the Corps predicts it will, then they plan to up this water flow, possibly as early as next week.
We'll probably start increasing the flows up to about 4,200 CFS.
That means about 2 million more gallons will be flowing downstream each day. Now that's about the same amount of water as 43,000 of these bathtubs.
There's no reason they can't leave it up for the rest of the summer.
Billy Randolph owns the Modoc Sporting Center by the lake. He remembers how bad it got when the lake was down and hopes this year will be different.
I believe we'll have a real great summer if it stays that way. If it drops back down, money-wise, drop down with it.
Now, Colonel Hall does want to remind everyone that as summer hits, some evaporation will naturally lower the lake level, but he expects the levels to stay much higher throughout the summer than they first predicted.
It's good to see the lake levels up, Christy. Thank you for that. Georgia's governor touting the state's new fiscal plan, saying it balances the budget without raising taxes. Nathan Deal signing that $37.1 billion budget into law this morning. Among the projects on the agenda this year, $45 million in bonds for a new cancer research building at GRU Augusta.
School leaders in Columbia County also talking money this morning. The BOE chairman says the district has done a good job of managing cuts in the past, but now they have some big decisions to make.
We have fewer teachers this year, 200 fewer teachers with over 2,000 more students. How much more can we cut? Our class sizes are larger than we've ever had them.
The current budget would leave Columbia County about $6,000 in the hole. Leaders say a tax increase could be an option.
Coming up first at 5, you've heard that tanning beds can be unsafe. Well, now the FDA is ready to push teenagers away from getting those indoor tans this summer.
Plus, while there's not a definite cause to the explosion in West Texas yet, investigators have ruled out a few causes. Up next, we'll tell you what those are.
Well, that area of low pressure that provided us all the clouds and rain over the weekend, that thing's moving away from us now. 80-degree temps are going to return, but it looks like more rain is on the way. I'll show you when that will arrive coming up.